This begins my attempt to review a game in under 5 minutes that took me 95 hours to complete. Now you're probably thinking it's going to be tough to go over everything in just 5 minutes, and you'd be right. But at the same time, I don't want to uncover everything, because that just spoils the game for you. So I'll go over the most important elements in the 5 minutes, and then at the end, I'll give my ultimate opinion of the game. But unlike my usual 5-minute climaxes, you probably won't be left disappointed in me afterwards.
Ooh, self-burn. Those are rare.
Speaking of disappointments, the gameplay becomes very stale very fast. Just about every side quest or activity involves running to a place, using the eagle to scout the area, sneaking in and stealing something, or killing some dude. Mission accomplished. You've beaten the game. But how on earth do I have the sanity to put the hours into the game that I did, especially with this gameplay loop? I honestly don't know. But what I do know is the game's story was so goddamn juicy. I just couldn't get enough. It's worth the hours of side quests and exploring just to get back to the main story. It fits well within the AC universe. It follows after Assassin's Creed Origins, which I didn't actually play, but I was able to understand what was going on at all times throughout the story. It didn't feel like I was missing anything. Speaking of Assassin's Creed and their franchise, this honestly doesn't feel like an Assassin's Creed game. Yes, I understand that the gameplay mechanics are the same, but I mean, apart from this, there are no hidden blades, no Templars, no badass assassins with sick hoodies on. It's just a role-playing game in ancient Greece, which is freaking sick if you ask me. I mean, it's the entirety of ancient Greece you get to explore. The world is massive, which honestly is why it probably took me so long to complete the game, because I have an OCD problem, and the average playthrough of this game takes someone around 40 hours, and I took twice as long. This is obviously a huge issue, as most people will probably lose interest in the game well before they even get close to finishing it. But if you think that you do have the time to tackle this game, it's certainly worth your while. The world itself is full of things to discover and explore. That's why it took me so long, because I decided to leave no stone unturned. I aim to completely fill the entire map. Take this how you want. This is probably a mix of good and bad if you ask me. It's addictive gameplay, yet it's the same old boring activities pasted at different locations around the world. Moving on to the combat in this game, it's actually somewhat challenging. You're not an immediate god-like entity at the start of the game that just chain kills over and over again with the press of a single button. The combat system has some depth to it, like dodging and parrying, similar to Dark Souls, but obviously 1,000,000 times more forgiving. You also have a wide variety of skills, talents to choose from, that each differ based on the weapon that you have equipped. It's nothing revolutionizing, but it's an example of a good, solid combat system. To add to this combat system, there is also a large variety of weapons and armors that you can use to create pretty strong builds by combining certain weapons and armor pieces together. It adds an extra bit of depth by giving you something else to think about apart from which abilities seem to be the most overpowered. You may feel weak early on, but believe me, there are some crazy good endgame builds that are not balanced whatsoever. I mean, it helps to build character in a way, starting off weak and becoming OP as shit, but it feels extremely satisfying when you can one-hit bosses towards the end of the game. Okay, now on to my opinion, the important part. I'd only recommend this game to people who are fans of the third-person open-world RPG genre, because this takes a lot of hours to play. And if you're not a fan, you'll definitely lose interest well before getting sucked into the story. In addition to this, the pure size of the world is phenomenal. If you're looking for a massive world to spend hours exploring, this is the one. The combat system feels great. It's extremely lenient while not feeling too much of a pushover, which in my opinion creates a fun combat system. Nothing too challenging. Look, overall I recommend this game to you. I mean, after all, I spent 95 hours on it, so there is definitely something for you to do. I hope you enjoyed the video. Feedback and game recommendations would be very much appreciated, as well as if you liked the video, it would just help to grow the channel even more.